Okay, let's take a look at this interesting passage from Second Thessalonians, verse 2, chapter 10. St. Paul says, "The coming of the lawless one will be accompanied by the working of Satan, with every kind of power, sign, and false wonder, and with every wicked deception directed against those who are perishing, because they refuse the love of the truth that would have saved them. For this reason, God will send them a powerful delusion so that they believe the lie." And so that they will believe the lie. Here we go. In order, verse 12, that judgment may come upon all who have disbelieved the truth and delighted in wickedness. Now, he's talking about the end of time. He's talking about the end of time, and he's talking about a lawless one who comes along and who deceives people because somehow he is in league with Satan and therefore can perform wonders or apparent miracles. They're false wonders. And there's, of course, Satan is a liar from the beginning. He is the father of lies. So this is a deceiver who's coming, a false Christ. And he will use every wicked deception directed against those who are perishing. What does that mean? Directed against those who are perishing. Whoever they are perishing because they refuse the love of the truth that would have saved them. And for this reason, God will send them a powerful delusion so that they believe the lie, in order that judgment may come upon all who have disbelieved the truth and delighted in wickedness. If you disbelieve the truth and delight in wickedness, if you do not love the truth and apparently therefore seek the truth, you open yourself up to swallowing these delusions and believing. I mean, St. Paul elsewhere talks about we need to no longer be children tossed about by every wind of doctrine and the workings of deceivers with their crafty scheming, believing everything they tell us. This kind of gullibility and willingness to swallow the lie not only makes us look like fools, but could bring us to a kind of eternal death. And I wanted to scroll down and take a look at Ellicott's commentary and what he says here. He's saying, the grace of love of the truth is offered us along with every new presentment of truth. If we are too indolent, meaning lazy, to examine whether it be truth, we are rejecting the love of truth. This is a worse thing than not accepting the truth itself. If they had only aspired to know what was the truth, they would have been saved, even if in fact they had been in error. Now that's a very interesting commentary. Let me try to explain this to you, since you're probably confused. Let's say there are people who are atheists and who reject the whole Christian thing. And perhaps they have, as in a way I did when I was young, come honestly to the conclusion that there is no God and that, in my case, all religion is a scam and a fraud. Now, if they've come to that conclusion because they have loved truth and their attempt to understand and embrace the truth has led them to that, even though they might be wrong, they're not necessarily perishing. God is not necessarily damning them because their love of truth has brought them to that conclusion, even though it might be wrong. This is another reason why we are not to judge others, because we don't know how their consciences have led them to what they believe, although most of the time, just between you and me, people do what they want to do, and then they build a philosophy around it. That's kind of how life works. But there are some people who actually do love truth and come to false conclusions. I mean, none of us comes to the completely perfect conclusion. None of us completely knows truth, because God is truth. But we must love truth That will make us desire it and seek us. That will make us students, which comes from the Latin studere, to be eager. That will make us want to approach truth. We will have the love of truth, the desire for it, and the appreciation of it once we find it. So the Antichrist comes, according to St. Paul, and preys upon those who do not have the love of truth and who have deliberately rejected truth. Therefore, God says, okay, if you want the lie, live the lie. Let's see how you like it. That ultimately becomes hell, I think, living the lie, living your life in a way that's not oriented toward the truth. And when you get societies that do that, you get communism and the Gulag, you get the Nazis and the ovens and the Holocaust. You get ideologues of all shades. We have many of them here in the United States of America. You have people who want to live according to a predefined belief that shuts off God from them and that creates a handy, comfortable second reality that they exist in. You find that we're all tempted to live that way. But the antidote to that, the way to break out of that, is to love the truth, which implies you will be seeking it. And he who seeks finds, and to him who knocks, it will be answered. Oh, I'm going to also put up a link. We have in Scripture the Pharisees. He trusted in God. Let him deliver him if he delight in him. They're quoting the Psalms as they mock Jesus. Handel took that and put it in the Messiah, his great musical composition. And I'll give you a little taste of what he does with that quotation. The mockery of Jesus on the cross. He trusted in God. Let God deliver him if God delights in him. More tomorrow, God willing.